welcome back to Seek Everywhere. My name is Emily, and you can think of today's practice as more of a recovery practice. Recovery as in from a trail run, a day with your kids, a snowboarding session, a hard workout, or even just a long work week or a bad night of sleep. Really, if you are a human being, this practice is perfect for you. Today's class will specifically focus on the hips and the low back, and we'll be doing some myofascial release and stretching to relieve tension and tightness in those areas. So for today's class, I will be using a foam roller, a block, and 2 tennis balls, but you can kind of use the block and the foam roller as the same thing. So if you only have one of those, then don't worry about that. 2 tennis balls, you could always use like a dryer ball, or you can get creative, I'm sure. The more firm the ball is, the more intense this is going to be. And for today's parts of the body, it will probably feel best with a softer ball. So just keep that in mind. And any other props will be great. You can always use a strap or blanket roll in place of any of these things. So I'm glad that you're here. And the key for today's class is to just relax and allow your body to take it all in and take it slow. So we'll start on our backs, and either your roller or your block here, we're going to start in a supported bridge pose. So the knees will be bent about hip width or shoulder width distance. And then I'm going to use a block, but again, you're welcome to prop the foam roller up under your sacrum if you would like. So medium or lower height, if you are using your block, you want to feel supported here. So that means the legs can be heavy. If you needed to, you could lift the feet up and there's no worry that that block is going to collapse underneath you. So just take a moment there, settling in with the breath, closing the eyes if you can. And again, just like I said before, try to allow yourself to relax. Easier said than done, but maybe you start by just taking a deep breath. That first exhale, allowing yourself to get a little bit heavier, more supported in the floor and the block. The inhale lets the belly relax, expand, fill up. Exhale to soften and clear out what you don't need. See if you can relax the muscles of your face. So unclenching your jaw, even release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Relax the space between your eyebrows. And from there, just continue to deepen the breath, giving yourself permission to let go. Take at least 3 more breaths here, just in stillness, feeling that movement of the breath. And then exhaling completely. If you haven't already, just close the lips and breathe softly in and out through the nose. Feel free to adjust the prop that's underneath you here, and we're just going to lift the feet up off the floor. So my knees are bent so that the legs can be totally relaxed, and then just see if you can kind of rock the hips from side to side. So again, if you have a really thin foam block and you don't feel supported with this, you can keep the feet on the ground and do the same kind of rocking motion. This is great with the foam roller too. All we're doing is kind of just massaging the sacrum, the low back. Maybe you kind of shift one knee forward and the other. And again, trust that the block or prop will hold you, and try to be as heavy as you can. And maybe that motion turns into some circles. So I'm kind of using the ridges of the block to massage my sacrum and my low back. I'm even getting into the tops of the hips there as well. You might find a spot that feels pretty good. If you have a cork or wooden block, it can be a little more intense. So slow it down if you need to, or again, the feet can always come down. Just take another 2 or 3 breaths there, kind of finding that rocking motion, forward, back, side to side, maybe one knee at a time. And then when you're ready, just see if you can gently bring the feet back down to the mat. I'm going to keep my block at this medium height, but you can always turn it down to a lower height here or take the block away. So I'm going to hug the right knee in towards the chest and stretch the left leg out long onto the mat. I try to relax your left leg completely here, and the goal is to not only stretch into this outer right hip, but feel an opening across the hip flexor on that left side, the top of the quad. And then choose your depth. You might be able to pull that right knee in a little bit more. You can move the ankle, point and flex the toes. And then see if you can take your right knee just a tiny bit wider towards the right. Like I'm kind of aiming towards the rib cage, towards the right shoulder. And pulling it out wide towards the right, and just again keeping that left hip, left leg heavy. And then coming back towards center with that right knee. Option to stay here, or you can try to straighten the right leg just for a few breaths here. Just holding behind the knee, or even bringing the arms down by the side if you'd like. Deep breath. And then gently release. Start to bring the bend into the left knee first. Lower the right leg. Adjust the block if you need to. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Right leg as heavy as you can. Just try to let it relax. Notice now the opening on that right thigh and hip flexors. And then maybe move your left ankle around. Maybe pull the knee in a little tighter. Just kind of notice how that feels. And then taking the knee wider towards the left armpit, left side of the rib cage. Starting to feel an opening in the inner thigh. Taking one more deep breath. And then bring your knee back towards center. Again, you can just stay and hold here, or you can extend the left leg, reaching behind the knee so the leg gets a little straighter. Reminder to relax your right side. Just one more breath in and out. Go ahead and bring the bend back into the left knee, back into the right knee. Bring both feet to the floor. Lift the hips up enough to just slide that block out of the way. And then take your feet as wide as your mat and roll your knees all the way to the right. Reach your arms up overhead. So almost like hands can be behind the head or reaching for the elbows. Take an inhale here. Relax the left knee closer towards the floor. Return to center and switch. Roll your knees all the way up and over to the left. One more each side. Center. Roll your knees up and over to the right. When in doubt, go wider with your feet here. So even off the mat is fine. Working that internal and external rotation in the hips. Usually that inside leg, that internal rotation is hard for a lot of us. We lack a lot of that mobility there. So if it feels a little tense, it's okay. That's why we're here. I'm still just going a couple times each side, just slow windshield wipers. Go ahead and take one more on each side, just even it out. And once you feel even, come back to center and start to hug the knees in towards the chest. And now just rounding into that low back, just like you did on the block or the roller. You're just rolling and rocking side to side. First, I'll keep the knees together and draw circles with the knees and kind of finding that the sacrum on the mat, that triangular bone at the base of your spine. Switch the directions of your circles if you're going there. And then from here, I'll take each knee in each hand and take the knees out, around, and in. So really circling the hip joint, moving the femur bone in the socket. Again, just kind of notice those tight and creaky spots. Take it slow. And then let's go ahead and release both feet to the floor. Cross right ankle over left thigh for figure 4. Option to pick that left foot up, hold behind the knee. And then just like you did before, a little rocking side to side. So just adding a little mobility to the stretch, getting the best of both. Continue to encourage that external rotation in the hip, meaning the right knee moves away from the chest and shoulder, keeping that space between your shin and your chest. And then if you are in that rocking motion, just find stillness, relax the shoulders, relax the belly, full breath in, full breath out. Gently release that left foot towards the floor and come back to those windshield wipers. So I'm still in my figure 4 shape. Arms come back up overhead, reaching for elbows. I roll the knees all the way towards the right and all the way towards the left. Right, now you have that ankle on top, so you might not get as much of a range. But imagine the right foot could come all the way to the floor. And maybe the left knee works its way towards the floor. Good, so next time your knees are towards the right side, like the inner edge of the left foot is on the mat, stay there. And now see if you can grab your left wrist and just a gentle pull of the left wrist. Pull your body just a little bit towards the right side. Maybe even lift the chin to look up over towards the left. Deep breath in and out. Come back to center. Roll your knees this shape to the left. Hold there, or grabbing the right wrist, just a little lean to the left. So taking that side body stretch. And then come to center. You'll keep your figure 4 once more. Hug the knees into the chest, or stay in figure 4, or cross your right knee over your left. So like a Gomukhasana or cow face pose. You can just kind of hug the knees to chest, or you can reach for these shins, the outer edges of the feet, the ankles. And just like your figure 4, kind of encouraging the knees to move away from the chest. That's going to deepen the stretch. Keep shoulders heavy. You're still holding your figure 4, just stay with it. Everyone take one more breath. All right, carefully unwind from that. A little shakeout if you need it. And then let's go figure 4, left ankle over right thigh. Option first, now you know we'll be here for a while. You can keep the right foot on the ground or lift the right foot up and start with your little rock. So just kind of baby rock side to side, encouraging the left knee to press out slightly like you had a hand on it. And if you are not holding the knee, you can press your hand into it. One more breath. And then work your way towards stillness and just hold there. Again, think about relaxing the face and finding that steady breath in and out. On your exhale, keep your figure 4 legs, but release your right foot. Arms back up overhead. And you don't have to do this version. It just helps me find more length in the side body. So that's why I like it. But if your shoulders feel tight, you can keep the arms down. Go ahead and come back to your windshield wiper shape, rolling inner and outer edge of right foot into the mat. A few times, easing into it. And then next time your knees are towards your left side. So think inner edge of right foot to the floor. Stay there. And then option to grab onto that right wrist for just a little extra pull. We're trying to get into that deep psoas muscle here. So you might already feel that loosening or stretching adding the side body stretch might make it a little more intense. Take that away, come back to center. Both legs over towards the right, like my left foot could stomp to the floor. Stay there, or a gentle tug of the left wrist overhead. Try to relax through the left hamstrings and glutes. And then working your way back to center, hugging the figure four legs back, figure four back to your chest. You can stay there, or taking, it's like you're sitting crisscross on a seat. You can stack the left knee over the right, reach for the shins, the outer edges of the feet, the ankles, and then a little press of the knees away from the chest. Shoulders heavy, unclench your jaw, deep breath. One more breath in and out. Carefully unwind from that. Little shake out of your legs. And then go ahead and bring your feet hip width distance, arms down by the side. Inhale to lift the hips and lift the arms overhead, just like bridge pose. Exhale to lower hands and hips down. So just working that hinge motion in your hips, getting that extension in the spine. And of course, opening up the hip flexors. Just moving slow. Think breath to movement. The inhale lifts you up, up, up. Exhale settles down. Two more. As you exhale and release hands and hips, shake it out. And then go ahead and roll onto one side so that you can just wherever you can see the screen here. So right now I'm on my right side, and I'm gonna try to put all of my weight on my right glute or right hip. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. Right now I'm on my right forearm and right elbow, but if that bothers the shoulder at all, you can take it down all the way to the right side of the waist. All right, so put all of your weight on literally your butt cheek on that right side, and then already from there, that might be like, whoo, okay, or you can add a little rock side to side. You can add the circles with the hips. I like to cross my ankles. Okay, you can play with that as well. If you are on hardwood floor, it's going to be more intense. Right now I'm on some soft carpet, so actually this doesn't feel too crazy, but just know that you can add an extra padded mat if you feel really tender. So we're, again, using the floor as a foam roller here, rolling out that right glute. And if you find a spot that feels really tight or tense, you can always pause and hold there and breathe into that spot, just like you would use the roller. And it does get a little physical, right? Because you're holding yourself off the ground. So anytime you need to, you can bring the feet back down to the floor. So we'll be here a couple breaths on this side. Maybe rocking forward and back. Ooh. You can tell that I'm feeling pretty tight today doing this. Take one more deep breath. Good. All right, let that go and switch sides. So we'll just do the same exact thing on the other side. I'm going to take it to the left. Again, you can choose just depending on how it feels for you. I'm going to stay on my left forearm. Try to find just the left butt cheek on the floor, and then lifting the feet is an option, crossing the ankles, and just finding that rocking side to side or circles. And we're basically giving those glutes a massage. All of this work is so great to incorporate in your fitness routine, because when we are more mobile, more flexible, we can move better, we can lift heavier, we can feel better. Everybody wants that, right? Again, if you find a tight spot on this left side, you can hold, breathe, on the meatiest part of your glutes, your hip. Take another deep breath. And when you're ready, let that go. Woo. And then come all the way up towards the tabletop position. You're going to take your knees as wide as the mat, big toes towards each other, and just rock forward and back like child's pose. These are just rocks, waking up the joints, loosening up the joints, especially hips, knees, ankles. So you can think about just keeping a neutral spine for now, and think about just stretching through the hips for just a few more breaths. And then option to add on a little bit of flexion and extension, so maybe the hips drop slightly. You can lift the feet up or even take the feet wide like a up dog. And then flexion, rounding the back, shifting back to child's pose. So add that on if it feels good, right? Or just keep that neutral spine, or maybe even hold child's pose if you need. Take 2 more breaths. And then let that go. Go ahead and come to tabletop now. So adjust the knees so they're directly under your hips, wrists under shoulders, and shoulders are forward. Pick your right knee up and draw circles with the knee. So just like you did on your back, now working one leg at a time. It can be helpful to elevate yourself if you want to or have any wrist pain, so you can pop up on your roller or even your block. And think about keeping the left hand heavy, left knee heavy, and just trying to really work that full joint motion, not just kind of moving the knee up and down, but really circling each side, or each direction, I mean. One more round of breath. And then from here, just extend your right leg straight back. Toes stay on the ground right now, and just rock your hips forward and back. Rock your shoulders forward and back, pushing into the toes. And then lift your right foot up and take it up and over towards the left as far as you can reach. Look towards your left foot. Looking over the left shoulder, let your hips sink towards the right. Come back to center. We're going to step this right foot forward in that kneeling position. So feel free to use your props as you'd like. Right foot forward, you can have a slight turnout of the toes, and you can always take your foot a little bit wider if you need to, especially because we're more just mobilizing for today. So hands can come to the thigh or to the roller or the block, just rocking forward and back. Think about driving that left knee down so that you can open up the left hip flexors. And then from here, you can definitely stay and just hold this lunge, or the left hand can come down to the block or the roller or the floor. Right hand to the sky for a twist. Allow your hips to sink. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Release that. Rise back up towards your lunge position and heel toe your right foot wide. So knee in line, left knee in line with the right heel, okay? And then you're rocking side to side now. Just going as far to the right as feels good on your inner thigh and hips. And then keeping knee over ankle. Think like extended side angle. Right forearm can come to the thigh. Left arm can come to the sky if that feels good. Or for a little deeper stretch, slide your right elbow into the thigh, pushing the knee away from you. Reach through that left arm. On your next inhale, rise up. And then hands can come to hips or your foam roller. You're just going to step right foot forward and lunge. Step right foot wide and lunge. So just working a little bit of that hip mobility. I don't know if you can hear my knees making noise. sound in the sound in the joints is normal as long as you don't feel pain. Just a little creaking here and there. That's what they do. All right, release that. Let's come back to tabletop and switch sides. So start up in your tabletop, lifting the left knee. Again, feel free to pop up the hands if you need. Circle that left knee out, around, and in each direction. And you can kind of visualize your femur bone moving in that hip socket. So really getting all that fluid, loosening it up with each breath. Make sure you're switching the direction. I'm not sure if I said that or not. Good, and then go ahead and release that, but kick your left leg straight back, toes on the ground, and just rocking back and forth. Get a little calf stretch here. And then lift your left foot up and over to the right, as far to the right as you can. Look towards your toes, sink your hips to the left. Good, unwind from there. And bring your left foot forward and a little bit wide here, just so you have the space. Option to have a slight turn out of the toes, rocking forward and back. And think about the right hip flexor loosening up. So deep lunge, keeping the chest lifted. All right, keep that deep lunge. Right hand can come to your prop or the floor. Left hand to the sky for a twist. Allow the hips to sink. Deep breath in and out. Unwind from that. Carefully lift back up. Heel toe your left foot wide. Heel in line with the knee. And shift side to side now. Just as far to the left as feels okay. And then just keeping that knee over ankle, left forearm to thigh, right arm to the sky, or you can slide the left elbow inside of the knee and add that little press. So just to encourage the hip to open a little bit more. Press right knee into the floor and reach through the right hand. Breath in and out. And come up. Hands to hips or your roller here. Again, woo, step forward and lunge. And step wide. We're trying to pick the foot up, again, just to challenge that mobility, but if you feel like you need to drag the foot or heel toe the foot, that's okay. Kind of work towards this eventually. External rotation. Forward and to the left one more time. And then come back towards your tabletop. Left knee meets the right. Let's go ahead and take cat and cow now. So dropping the belly, tilting the tailbone up to the sky. Exhale, press the floor away, tuck the tail, and round your low back. Breath to movement here. Really trying to get that full range of motion. So if you can see yourself in the screen, just think about equal rounding of the low back and the upper back. That will be the goal if it's not quite there today. Think turning the inner thighs back, lifting tailbone to the sky as the chest lifts. One more breath. All right, go ahead and come to neutral. Now we'll step the right foot out wide to the right. This time the arch of the right foot in line with the left knee. So again, feel free to lift your hands up if you need to, or come to forearms if you need. And we're just going to start with that same pelvic tilt you were just doing. So cat and cow. I'm trying to turn that right inner thigh back and up, and then tuck the tail. Really feel the movement from the pelvis. And then staying like that, if that feels like enough, or you can rock the hips forward and back. So this is going to be quite a bit of an inner thigh stretch. It's just like those child's pose rocks we were doing earlier. And then option to reach that left hip back towards the heel and kind of stay there for a breath or two. And gently come up and out of that and switch legs. Right knee comes down, left foot steps out wide to the left. Start with your pelvic tilts, your cat and cow. Stretch, tailbone to the sky, and then tuck and curl. And then again, staying there or finding that rock back and forth. And then option to keep the rocking or just stay hinging back, hip towards the heel, towards that forward fold position. And then the next breath in, come back up and bring your left knee back to meet the right. Go ahead and swing your legs around to come towards a seated position. And then we're going to come into a 90-90 stretch. You can always go into pigeon pose, so just keep that in mind. We love pigeon as a hip opener, right? So if you're going to come with me to 90-90, you can use your mat to help you with this. Think right shin parallel with the short edge of your mat, and then lean to the right so you can bend the left knee. So you can see why it's called 90-90, right? You're trying to have two 90-degree angles with the legs. It's okay if that back knee is up a little bit, right? You want to be comfortable. So I don't know if you can see that shape there, but we're going to work with this just a little bit here. Your left hip will likely not be on the ground, so don't worry about that adjustment there, especially just for today's sake. So for now, this might already be like way too much. So you can just pause and breathe or shift to the right for pigeon by straightening the left leg back. Okay, so from here, think about pressing the outer edge of right foot into the floor and the inner edge of the left. And then start with fingertips towards the floor. Exhale to fold forward, just like you would if you're going towards pigeon. And then inhale to lift back up. So it's kind of like our forward fold to halfway lift, right? Fold and lift back up. Now, of course, feeling sensation in the right hip. Options to stay like this or take the hands behind you or even clasped or not, but just so you're using no hands and just working on that strength in the hip. Of course, like I said, the left hip is likely not on the ground, but you can see my adjustment. I'm trying not to lean totally to the right, trying as much as I can to keep weight in that left knee. It's so hard. So again, if this is unbearable, just stay towards your forward fold. We're working that external rotation, finding that mobility in the hips, which will release tension in our low back. It's all connected. Okay, next exhale, just stay folding. Woo, release your hands. Option to find elevation on a block or roller. And again, already I find myself leaning to the right. So if that happens to you, just notice and try to keep some awareness on that left side. All right, inhale to lift that up, lift your chest, and then walk your hands back behind you. Open up your chest and actively press your left knee towards the floor. Don't let your right knee lift. Now getting into that left side. All right, this is always a great place to stay. You can hang out here and breathe into this, or you can lift yourself up again. Option to have fingertips on the ground or not. Now I'm going to push into the left knee and try to lift my left foot off the floor so you can see it barely lifts up. That's that internal rotation that, again, most of us really lack that mobility there. So just an option to try. Even if your foot doesn't come off the ground, you're still doing the work, getting that little rotation in that hip socket. Try one or two more times. The reason I say hands off the floor is just so we can kind of keep that elevated spine and focus only on the hip instead of kind of sinking into the hands. Whew. All right, after one more of those, shake that out. Just see if you can windshield wiper the legs, right? Notice how that feels. And then let's switch it to the other side. So left shin forward, right foot back. Again, 90-90 is where I'm heading, but you can always go to pigeon or even a seated figure four if you want to come back to that. Flexing the feet, pushing into the outer and inner edge, or outer edge of left foot, inner edge of the right. Lift through the chest. Fingertips towards the floor, or again, you can reach the hands back behind you and just finding that lift and fold. Just notice how far you can go on this side. You might be able to go all the way down, chest towards the shin. Oh. Relaxing your face as much as you can. Knowing that you're going to feel so much better when you're done here. Try just a few more. You might be going faster or than me, so just go at your own pace. And then next exhale, folding forward. My left side is definitely weaker and definitely tighter, so I have a harder time on the left. I don't know if you notice that about yourself too. That's what's so cool about this practice. Cool. Is that we can take note of our body's patterns and slowly work our way to fixing them. No judgment, just observing. One more breath. And then lifting up and leaning back. Now I'm pressing right knee towards the floor. I always kind of try to like get lazy here, so try not to as well. Lift your chest, roll the shoulders back. And maybe the hands walk back a little further. Just don't let that right knee lift. Deep breath. And then coming up from there, again, hands can stay on the floor. You might even stay in that leaning back stretch, or you can take the hands off the floor and try to push the knee down of the right leg and lift the right foot off the floor. So this is still really hard for me, but I can tell that it's a little more accessible on this side than the left. I'm trying not to find that lean over to the left. I don't know if you can see, but trying to just kind of stay upright. Try one or two more of those. Woo. And then let that go. Shake it out, windshield wipers. And then find a Baddha Konasana or butterfly option with support of your roller or your block. If you have one, you can put the block between your feet, pressing feet into the block, or again, the roller option to fold forward. Think about turning your tailbone back. So like you could turn your inner thighs back to just keep that opening in the pelvis and low back. All right, rise on up. We'll fold one more time. If you're using your block, you can take it wider. Otherwise, just come back into that fold one more time. Press feet into block, shoulders down and back. Relax the belly. And then take your time to rise. Take the block away. And again, shake out however you would like from that. All right, so we're gonna do one more thing here. Well, two more things, I should say. So you can come back to the block underneath the sacrum like we did in the beginning. Or if you have one of these longer rollers like me, you can use the longer roller. It's still not quite long enough for me, so I just use the support of my block to go under my head. So you're gonna line up the roller with your entire spine. So the base of the foam roller is right at my sacrum. Sorry, hope you could hear that. The base of the foam roller is right at my sacrum. And again, if you don't have a roller this long, you can use a blanket roll, or you can just use your block again. I just like the width of the roller, how it kind of lines up with the width of my sacrum. So from here, just a little rocking side to side. And ideally, I would have the roller under my head and not the block, but mine's not long enough. So you do what you can. You can stay just like this, or like before, you can kind of gently lift one foot. We don't want to do too much like hardcore rolling. It's just a little rocking more so. Kind of shifting the weight on each side. And if it's ever too much, come out of it. But again, try to just let your body relax as much as you can. And if both feet are not yet on the ground, go ahead and bring them back to the ground and just find a few more breaths here. So this is an option to stay as we move on to the next exercise, the last exercise. Just know this is a spot to come back to, or the first thing we did was that supported bridge where the rest of my back is on the floor and the roller or block are under the hips. Okay, so if you do have your 2 tennis balls, you can try this myofascial release with me. And if you have a peanut ball where the balls are stuck together, you can use that just like what I was doing before. But for this particular exercise, you'll need 2 separate ones. So just know that. So you're going to take the ball, think like the top of your pelvis, or like that iliac crest. Okay, so you're going to kind of follow that, and you'll take one ball on each side. So kind of like the sacrum area, and you're kind of right underneath that iliac crest. Okay, so the tennis balls are pretty close to each other, but you still have that space in between. And knees will be bent, trying to find that relax in the legs. So again, if right away you feel really tender here, this doesn't feel good, just adjust with the other props that you have, or lay on a pillow here or a blanket. So just like you did before, you can kind of just find that tiny rocking side to side. Just shifting weight is all I'm doing. Kind of starting to feel the hips getting involved here. So that might be where you stay. Or I'm going to start by focusing on the right side. I'm just going to scoot down a little so you can see me. So I'm not going to move the left side or the left tennis ball at all. And I'm going to roll towards the right. So knees are coming towards the right. And then I'm like drawing a horizontal line with the ball. So the left ball might stay where it is, or it might roll out from under you, and that's fine. You're focused on the right side. I'm drawing that horizontal line along that iliac crest. So rolling from side to side. Okay, it gets pretty intense. Right, but again, you're not on the bone, you're right below on the glutes, working your way kind of towards that outer hip. So again, the left tennis ball might still be there depending on your range of motion, or it might have drifted off, and that's okay. Just working that horizontal line side to side, and you pause when you get to the sacrum. So again, you're not kind of rolling on the bone, but you're just going forward and back. That might be enough for you. That might be where you stay, or you can kind of start to work your way towards the right side, and the ball will just kind of rest into that outer hip. Whew. And then you just hold there for a few deep breaths and try to relax as much as possible. The tennis ball is right where we were doing that rolling before, where we had our ankles crossed and we were drawing circles with the knees. Take a few more breaths there if you're just kind of holding that pressure. And then you'll have to readjust. So carefully come back, replace that left ball, replace the right, so that again, it's on either side of the spine, the sacrum. And now I'm going to draw that horizontal line on the left. So the right ball is just kind of there to keep it balanced at the beginning, but it's okay if it rolls away at this as you get going here. Think again, just that horizontal line right underneath that crest. Notice where you might feel tighter, left or right side. And then again, you can slow it down or pause on one spot if you need. Sensation, but never unbearable pain. So keep that going, those kind of lines side to side, or maybe you end up right at the outer hip and you can just kind of hold the pressure there. I always end up kind of straightening the leg a little bit more. Imagine you can melt onto the ball. Adjust the positioning if you need to. 2 more breaths. And then see if you can roll back to your back. Option to go through that again on each side, right? Ideally, you have a little more time with this. Or you can just take the tennis balls away and just notice right away. You might feel a little bit heavier, feel a little looser. And again, feel free to pause and go through that again or spend some more time doing that. Otherwise, you'll just finish with me here a couple of breaths. So feet as wide as your mat, knees fall into touch, just coming into a body scan, especially observing the sensation in your hips and your low back. And just taking a moment to thank yourself for taking the time today to recover, to roll, to stretch. And take as much time here as you need. And thank you for being here and taking